Sneakerheads know it is Concord season, but in recent years, Nike has been killing it with collabs at the end of the year, and we're going to take a look at 4 that either recently released or are about to release that are killing it. That's ACG, a Coldwall, Fear of God, and Ambush. We're going to review them, pros, cons, what's good, what's not, my personal ranking, and that's next up on the synopsis. Let's get it. So the very first one that I want to go ahead and get into is the Coldwall Nike collaboration. Now, if you don't know a Coldwall, that's okay, but most of you probably do. A Coldwall spearheaded by Samuel Ross, basically a mentee. You know, he was mentored by Virgil Abloh. He's done a little bit on Off-White, done a little bit on Hood by Air. He's been making noise for the past 2-3 years now. And this Nike collab, let me tell you something. Clean. Industrial, what he's known for, right? Layered, messing with fabrics, right? He's getting access to all of this stuff, and it's super technical. It has that, and you know, he normally works in this slate gray palette, and I love it. I love that he's consistent with his design, with a Coldwall. And it's minimalistic, but at the same time, it's involved, and that's exactly what he's displaying with this latest collaboration with Nike. And so if you're into that style, I definitely suggest going towards this. And when I mean this style, what I'm talking about is that disruptor fashion style, which Virgil Abloh, Heron Preston, and Samuel Ross occupy, right? And I enjoy it. The only downside is that the entire collection is it's supposed to be worn together, right? I mean, each piece can work on its own, like separately, but together it's so cohesive. He obviously designed it to be together, right? They work so cohesively that it almost, you have to buy the entire thing to appreciate it. Even the shoes, because we had the Vomero in black and clay, and they're super involved. They're about the most involved thing in this entire collection. They're super involved, and they have this big plastic thing on the back, but that is the aesthetic of a Coldwall. So I don't really like the shoes alone, but that with that style, it works, right? So definitely something that you should take a look at least for inspiration, if anything, because Samuel Ross is a fantastic designer, and he's only going to get better. Now the ACG, NikeLab ACG, not the new Heritage ACG. We're talking about NikeLab ACG, spearheaded by Errolson Hugh. Last collection that we will see from NikeLab ACG, the last hurrah by Errolson Hugh, and I am not happy about it. And the reason why I'm not happy about it is because this is coming right off of the heels of the acronym Presto, the re-release, and those didn't get a lot of heat. So I was expecting that the collection was going to be all kinds of fires, all kinds of them, all everywhere, and it was not. It was not. It was disappointing because again, even though I appreciate Errolson Hugh, definitely in my top, at least top 7, top 5 designers that I love, probably top 10, but he's in there. And I was disappointed because it's not as good as the last season. It really didn't expand on the last season, right? It didn't expand on the idea of what ACG could be. And we're getting the down jackets with the pattern. I'm not really feeling that. We're getting the long jacket that has a whole bunch of pockets, zippers all over the place. And that's part of the course. That's what Errolson Hugh does. So I expect that, but the style is not as cohesive as collections past. My favorite collection out of all the ACG lineups was 2017. 2017 with the mint and the olive pants, all of that was incredible with the 3-layer jackets. I thought that was fantastic, and this one does not hold a candle to that. Even the 2016 was better, right? 2016 was amazing as well, but I think 2017 was the best, at least the holiday collection. And so what we have here is kind of like a last hurrah, but also like, what else can he do? Like, what else can he do besides detachable pockets, which is what we see in the pants, like detachable pockets and, you know, zipper pockets that you can attach. It's just involved to the point It's devolved to the point where he has to use kind of like these gimmicks because there's nothing else that he can really do. And that's the big problem with like tech fashion. The only way that he can possibly do exactly what he wants to do in design is by doing acronym. By working with Nike, Nike's just going to pilfer all of those styles and make it a part of their general collection. I mean, they got the tech pack out here already. They don't need Errolson. They got the AAE collection already. They don't need Errolson Hugh to do all of those things. They already brought out Matthew M. Williams. So I guess this is just kind of like, yo, what else am I supposed to do? Okay, I'll give you this. And that's something that I really can't co-sign. I think if you're into tech, it's worth taking a look, but it is definitely one of the lesser collections from NikeLab ACG. Maybe we're gonna get more pieces because it was very skimpy. So maybe we're gonna get more pieces. I actually expect more pieces to come out. So we'll see. If not, very, very just lackluster showing. Not on Errolson's part, but just on the basis of what it looks like. It's just not there all the way yet. Next up, we got Ambush Nike collaboration. If you don't know Ambush, that's okay. Yoon, Verbal, that's their label. Yoon started off making glasses for Verbal. Verbal is the guy who used to he still is in the group Inflow, really big group here in Japan. Wasn't like super crazy big, but they were pretty big. Yo, I used to listen to Inflow a lot, actually. Big fan of Verbal. DJ Takahashi, right? Yoon, however, she's killing it, man. She's being touted as that next up. She's the next up, at least in the traditional fashion mold. She's next up, right? And Nike was like, yo, we need to go ahead and stamp that. And what they're doing is they're adding that luxury, that traditional luxury style that Yoon kind of designs in, and adding that to the Nike pantheon of collections. And that is a fantastic idea. She's an up-and-comer. She's making noise. She's making waves. And the collection is incredibly enticing to look at. It is a very, very clean collection, right? Would I wear it? That is another question. Because it is so high design, it's so high fashion, I am not sure everybody is going to get into it, because the minute that I saw it, I thought, yeah, this is high fashion. And number two, I thought Tron, right? I thought Tron, Tron, bikes, lights, and Tron and Clue, all of that. I thought that, right? You had the reflective, lines going over the pieces. Then you got the metallic jackets. Then all of a sudden you got this faux fur jacket. Oh, okay. That's what we're doing now. But I think it looks dope. I think it's fantastic. I think she did a really good job. I think it's awesome to look at. I think it fits the Ambush aesthetic more than it fits the Nike aesthetic, but it really gives her a window into sports fashion using her style. And I think that's great. Last up, we got the Nike Fear of God collection. And here's my thing about this. There are a lot of people who say like Jerry Lorenzo has kind of like the Jerry Lorenzo hype has died down, right? That style is played, right? It's just it's a general style now. This is my problem with fashion and people who involve themselves in fashion, people who say that, oh, they're not trendsetters, they're up on styles, because these are people who adopt styles based on what the trends are, right? You adopt the style and you put the style in your closet because that's the hot style of the day. But I am more concerned with consistency. That's me personally. I am not a person who will go out of his way to have multiple styles in his closet simply because that style is hot for the time. That's me personally. The only reason why I think I'm like that is because of me living in Japan and understanding how Japanese people design, which is the reason why I like Jerry Lorenzo's style of design. Jerry Lorenzo approaches design like a Japanese designer. He is not concerned with making something different. He's concerned with going deeper into the complexities of his style of design, telling that story as much as he can, expanding that story as much as he can. You'll see designers doing different things from year to year, but Jerry Lorenzo wants to kind of maintain that particular style. And what you're seeing in this Nike Fear of God collaboration, love it or hate it, is that his idea of what sport and the Nike Fear of God style can be. And as a result, because the styles kind of intersect so well, he basically just made Fear of God, right? With Nike symbols on it. And for me personally, I have no problem with it. I have no problem with it. In fact, I think he went a little bit further because he's exploring layering that much more. I know I'm getting a little bit more technical with this because I think it's one of the strongest collaborations out of all of these, right? I think it's one of the strongest only because I know what Jerry's trying to do here, right? He's trying to expand the story of Fear of God. And the shoes, the sneakers, the Air Fear of God ones, call it off, man. I was on the fence at first. Those are ridiculous. They grew on me. They grew on me so strong, right? They grew heavy, and I'm excited about them. I am super excited about those shoes. I am definitely copping a pair. Don't care. I don't care if the price is crazy. I'm getting a pair. Especially, I can, and I know they're coming out in other colorways because that's what Nike is trying to do. They're trying to kill resale. We all know this. But the initial ones, the black and the bone colorway, either one. Although I like the bones because I think that's either a leather on the upper, and I know that the black ones are a canvas on the upper. So you have two different styles. I gotta get those. I gotta get a pair. It fits my closet well. Fits my personal closet well, right? So, in my opinion, one of the strongest out of all four of these, mainly because it's so cohesive. And even if you're not into the Fear of God style, there are elements of it. This is what I was talking about with a Coldwall. A Coldwall lends itself to, you have to basically have the entire collection and to make it work really well. But with the Fear of God one, you could just get the sweats and you're good, right? You can look at a piece of like I don't like that piece, but I like that piece, and you'll be fine. And that's why I think that this collection is one of the cleanest out of all of them, because it's not codependent on every single piece being together. Although it does look good together, you have this element of separation, and you could still rock it. So obviously, from just my commentary, you probably already figured out my ranking. We're going with 4 at ACG, NikeLab ACG, just not involved. Hopefully that changes. Hopefully we haven't seen the last of all the pieces. I expect more to come out, to be honest with you. And then we're gonna go at number 3. I hate to give it number 3 because the ACG is just underwhelming. But I'll give it like a 2B. We're going with a Coldwall, mainly because it's just, like I said, it works well together as one unit, right? And not everybody is going to like that aspect. Although the jacket and the sweats are pretty killer. So I will say that. I just think that the entire thing needs to be put together, like all together, to make it work, like to get the supreme aesthetic of that collection. Ambush, Nike Collab, number 2A, right? Mainly because it's in the same, I haven't seen any of the pieces outside of the principal photography. So looking from that, it looks dope. It just looks cool. It looks like designer fashion with Nike all over it, and I kind of dig that. Plus I'm a big fan of Ambush, right? I love what they're doing over there. So that's me personally, but I think just the general aesthetic of Ambush Nike collaboration is just amazing. At number 1, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a Fear of God because of consistency. I like Jerry Lorenzo's style. It fits my style. This is the only reason why it gets number 1. It fits my closet well, right? I can get any of those pieces and I'd be like, yeah, I can do this. I can do it. So if you guys are listening on podcasts or if you're watching on YouTube, let me know what your comments are on these 4 collabs. I think, they're pretty good for anybody who's into any of those particular styles. Again, as you guys already know about me, I'm more along the lines of consistency, but some of you might be more multiple style kind of people, and you might be able to pull some of these pieces off depending on what is in your closet. So let me know what you think of any of these collaborations. You can rank them in the comments. Also, be aware that you guys can go ahead and hit us up on Patreon, support us on Patreon, and you can get Overtime, which is basically a newsletter of what's coming out on the casual. You can get discounts in our store. We're about to drop some stuff soon. So we're about to drop some teas and stuff soon for the show, but it's not going to be like, I watched the casual. So just keep in mind, if you go over there, you're going to get discounts. You're going to get more videos. You're going to get Unscripted is also over there. So go ahead and hit us up on Patreon so you guys can get all of the extra content. That being said, keep it locked right here for all of your info on international street fashion and culture from Tokyo. It's your boy, and keep it casual. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu, and I'll see you guys in a minute.